Spoiler alert for Life Itself, skip ahead if you haven't seen it. Love is often spoken of as eternal, but the movie Life Itself shows us that love is not frozen in time. It grows, it breaks, it bends under the weight of life. What begins with passion between Isabel and Javier transforms as they face poverty, money, sacrifice, and the responsibilities of family. This is not a fairy tale, it is the evolution of love across years, tested by circumstances no one can fully control. When Isabel and Javier first meet, their connection is raw, immediate, unshakable. They fall in love with a fire that feels invincible, the kind of love that convinces us that no challenge can touch it. But as the story unfolds, we see what life often does. It places heavy stones on the path of even the strongest relationships. The romance that once felt like pure destiny begins to be shaped, and at times strained, by everyday realities. Money, or rather the lack of it, becomes one of the first shadows in their marriage. Poverty does not just mean empty pockets, it seeps into conversations, choices, and even dreams. Javier's pride, his sense of manhood, is wounded by financial instability. Isabel, resilient and patient, tries to hold the family together with grace, but even grace has limits. Here the film reflects a universal truth. Love is not only about passion, it is also about survival. And survival often demands compromises, silences, and the swallowing of pride. What makes Life Itself so powerful is how it refuses to romanticize this struggle. Isabel and Javier are not destroyed by the lack of money, but they are transformed by it. Their love shifts from fire to endurance, from passion to sacrifice. And this is what happens in so many real families. The youthful belief that love conquers all collides with the reality that bills, food, and opportunity matter deeply. Yet it is not only poverty that challenges them. Family responsibilities also reshape their relationship. Raising children in hardship forces Isabel and Javier to grow beyond their roles as lovers. They become protectors, providers, and in the process, they must set aside their own desires. Love in this phase is not expressed through grand gestures but through quiet persistence, working long hours, enduring humiliation, sacrificing dreams. Javier's story also highlights another dilemma, the tension between dignity and dependence. When he accepts help from Mr. Sachione, the wealthy landowner, he is caught in a web of gratitude, resentment, and inferiority. Money here is not just currency, it is power. And power has the ability to wound pride, to complicate relationships, to make a man feel small even in the eyes of the woman who loves him. Isabel, patient but strong, recognizes this silent wound. She understands that Javier's pride is as fragile as his heart. This dynamic between them shows us something essential about love. It is not only about romance, but about navigating the unspoken forces of class, dignity, and survival. Love changes because life changes. Poverty demands resilience, family demands sacrifice, and pride demands healing. And yet, despite these hardships, the love between Isabel and Javier remains visible. It may not glow as it did at first, but it becomes something deeper. It is no longer just desire, it is loyalty. It is the choice to stay, to endure, to share pain as well as joy. This is a version of love that is less celebrated in stories, but more common in reality. The quiet, stubborn love that persists in kitchens, in fields, in small apartments where hope feels thin. Life Itself reminds us that time is not always kind to passion, but it can deepen intimacy. Isabel and Javier's love may be reshaped by poverty and struggle, but it becomes layered with sacrifice and resilience. What begins as a love story of two individuals transforms into the story of a family, of survival, of dignity in the face of hardship. The film asks us to reflect on our own relationships. How does love change when dreams meet reality? How do poverty and money, so often avoided in romantic tales, actually shape the way we love? For Isabel and Javier, love is not destroyed by hardship, it is redefined by it. And perhaps that is the most honest portrayal of love itself, not as something that avoids pain, but as something that grows through it. In the end, Life Itself shows us that love is not just the spark that begins a story, but the endurance that carries it forward. Love is not always easy, not always romantic, and certainly not untouched by poverty, family, or pride. But when it survives, even in silence, It becomes something richer than passion alone, it becomes the very fabric of life.